Namaskar and very good afternoon, viewers. Dear learners, we have been talking about gender and education. In gender and education, till now we have discussed the difference between sex, sexuality and gender. We have also discussed what gender stereotyping is and how it affects the society. We have also discussed the gender biases which is prevalent in the society. We have also discussed the polyandrous societies, matrilineal societies, matriarchal societies which exist in India and how they have an impact on the education of the woman. We have also discussed theories of the gender, correlated theories on the gender, and we have discussed gender socialization theory. Now we shall be discussing about structural theory. Structural theory, as the name itself says, and all of us know, it has come from the functionalism. Functionalism, which has come from the Herbert Spencer. Herbert Spencer was an English philosopher and biologist. He saw similarity between society and the human body. He saw society as a structure with integrated parts designed to meet the biological and social needs of the individual in that society. So, Herbert Spencer believed that if there is some kind of a change which has to come, just as if there is some problem in some body part, the result is that the whole body suffers. So, to change the society, or we can say to improve the society or to have a healthy society, it's very important that all parts of the societies remain working well and they are playing the important role in that society. So, Herbert Spencer, when he talked about the social institutions, he said these social institutions are part of the society and they are part of the beliefs, behaviors which are focused on meeting social needs. Government, education, family, healthcare, religion and economy were also seen as parts of the society by Spencer. So, Spencer believed that all these parts are working together, only then society is running. In this definition, as we understand, that it is very much important that if you want to have some change done in the society, like the perspective as far as the woman is concerned, to improve the education of the woman, to improve their the attitude of the people towards women, if we want to change that, if we see from the perspective of structuralist, that means that we will have to work upon the complete structure. All the components will have to be worked upon. All the components will have to come together to bring those changes. Now let us also talk about Emile Durkheim. Durkheim was a very important person in the way that he applied Spencer's theory to explain how societies change and survive over time. Durkheim believed that society is a complex system of interrelated and independent parts that work together to maintain stability, and society is held together by shared values, language and symbols. He believed that to study society, the sociologist must look beyond individuals to social facts such as law, morals, value, religion, belief, customs, fashion, rituals. They are the ones which serve to govern social life. So, just as Durkheim believed that individuals make up the society and the society is homogeneous or heterogeneous in nature because of the fact that we have different components in it. So, if we look at from the perspective of Durkheim, we understand that the social facts are more important. Laws are more important, moral values are more important, religion, beliefs, customs, fashion, rituals and the cultural rules are the one who govern social life. So, to look at any society from the Durkheim practice, from the Durkheim perspective, we will have to understand that the society's law have to be there to protect society from violence, while there should be laws to punish the criminal behavior, and there should be law to preserve the public health. So, law is very important, which is a social fact. And what does law means? Law means just not the legal system, but also social norms, but because they also work as laws at a time. Just to give an example, we have the Khap Panchayat. What are they? They are not the accepted legal notions. They have no legal notions. They have no justification in passing some kind of a laws against some individuals or some families. But still it is seen that whatever decisions they are making, that is being followed in those community because they have the social acceptance. So we have to understand that the legal system as well as the social norms have to be changed if we want to bring some changes. Another structure functionalist we should be talking about is Robert Merton. He pointed out that the social processes often have many functions, and manifested functions are the consequences of the social processes that are sought or anticipated, while latent functions are unsought consequences of social processes. In fact, if manifest functions of college education is getting the degree, and what about the latent function? Latent function of the college years is that we get chance to meet new people, we get chance to experiment with the gender, we get chance to participate in the extracurricular activities, and even finding a spouse or a partner, a life partner. As far as Robert Merton is concerned, he has said that both manifest functions which are sought or anticipated, they are as important as the latent functions which are not sought but they still play a very important role. Like the example I gave to you of the college, where the latent is to explore oneself, to explore one's individuality, to be able to find one's own friend circle, to build friend circle, to have the partners, to be able to meet new people, to participate in extracurricular. And as far as the manifest is concerned, that is just to learn, get a degree, find a career for themselves, and being able to find a good job. As far as the latent function is concerned, that is very important. How latent function is concerned is beneficial. It is beneficial or harmful because that goes with an individual for the longer duration. Just to understand it this way, as far as the manifest function is concerned, we usually find that only results in opening the gate as far as the job is concerned. But after we get the job, the kind of a promotion, the kind of a life we have, the kind of a family life or the kind of a professional life, the fact that what kind of a team worker we are, the fact that what kind of a leadership we are capable of giving to our subordinates, these are decided by the fact that what kind of latent function has been played by the school years and by the college years. So as far as the education system is concerned, this is an example of dysfunction, which also includes getting bad grades, dropping out, not graduating, not being able to find suitable employment. But this also includes, education also includes the being able to do well as far as in both the ways is concerned. So it is very important that we look at the society from both the perspective. Now let us talk about the deconstructive theory. What is deconstructive theory? As far as deconstructive theory is concerned, it is given by Jacques Derrida, and it questions most of the philosophical categories or concept. In philosophy, it talks about including the fundamental opposition through demonstration. They are the construction, not the part of the nature of the things, but categories imposed by the discourses which provide the evidence for their deconstruction. So, as far as the deconstructive theory is concerned, it talks about deconstructive strategies which provide valuable tool for all the feminists. That means the hierarchical privileges or the gender binary opposition which was given by the woman during that time, which ended up giving non-patriarchal or non-heterosexual positions, and as well as developing the kind of a thinking, was due to the deconstructive theory. Because due to the deconstructive theory, the feminism came up. As far as the feminist theories was concerned, it was acknowledged that no gender should have the mastery over the other, and no gender should be dominant as far as the as far as the work is concerned or the social image is concerned. It also undermined the authority of privileged male, and by talking about that there shouldn't be any kind of a marginal people, there shouldn't be any people at the margin. It also decentered the unitary or the masculine subject and enabled voices at the margin to make themselves heard. Who were at the margin? Of course, the woman. Deconstructives highlighted the theories like the tyranny of the law as far as the permitting the representation of certain people only, because if you know that in most of the society the woman didn't even have the political rights to vote, so that was being questioned, blocking the women, undermining them, exposing logocentric or phallocentric discourses, that is woman being talked as the other, woman is not getting the representation, women are not being not getting the space to work. So because of the patriarchy system, that was being questioned by the feminist. Just to give an example, we all of us know that in the Victorian era we had many women who were writing by taking the pen name of the males, because of the reason that the women writers was not acceptable to the society or the community of during those times. Here we are talking about the developed nation, we are not talking about the underdeveloped or developing nations. So even in the developed nations we had the scenario where the women were not accepted, even as the writers, they were not accepted in the roles which was traditionally being constructed for the woman. So deconstructivists basically questioned the constructed norms, the constructed value system, the constructed social texture, and they also pointed out, just like the fugitive, that the construction itself is absolutely wrong. There shouldn't be any kind of a construct of the society. Rousseau is an example who talked about the society and culture, and he described that corrupting and oppressive forces are the one who try to develop an idyllic state of nature in which human exists in self-sufficient and peaceful isolation from one another. So even the Rousseau believed that the nature is prior to the culture and nature should be allowed to have its own way. And whenever we will talk about the nature doesn't discriminate between any sexes, because gender is social, but as far as the sex is concerned, that is natural or biological. So if we go as far as the deconstructivist people are concerned, that means that we should go by nature and the culture should be opposed in such a way that the nature gets the upper hand. The point of the deconstructive analyst is to restructure or replace the oppositions, not simply reverse it. By reversing means that man is doing this, so woman should be doing this way. No, rather it should be restructured in such a manner that both the genders get the space and scope as to work as per their natural ability. Now let us talk about what is gender equality, because we generally talk about gender equality. What does gender equality means? Just to give an example of the gender equality, if we say to the people at large that the women nowadays are doing as good as male in mathematics, do you think it has some kind of a gender bias, or is it providing equality to the woman? Friends, it has gender bias, because here the woman is being compared to the males. Here we are accepting the fact that the males are good at mathematics. They are good at mathematics. Women are trying to become good at mathematics. They are trying to become like male. So who are superior over here? Males are superior. By stating that they are doing as good as male, that means the males are superior and the women are making efforts and trying to do as good as males. So we have to understand that the gender difference is there in the perspective of most of the people, each one of us. This has to be get rid of. How to get rid of? To get rid of, we need to have policy perspective looking at it. Like we had we had informal education, we have non-formal education working towards literacy of the female, but still we see that as far as the female is concerned, they are at 65.46 and the male are 82.14. This was the statistics I shared in the first lecture also. What is the underlying factors of low literacy rate? As we discussed, that the parents' perception to the fact that how parents look at the gender, both the genders. Do they look at men and women, the boys and girls in their home, their son and daughters as equal? If they do, then naturally we wouldn't have any kind of a discrepancy. We wouldn't have any dropout rate which we are envisaging particularly at the secondary level. Why we are having that kind of a gap? The reason is that the parents are looking at education not from the altruistic point of view. They are looking at education from the investment point of view, and as far as the education is concerned, for the woman it is the disadvantage, because the woman is someone who is to be married off, and because she is to be married off, whatever she is being given, that will be used by her husband's house, and that is why education in the case of a woman is a waste. It is not something which is seen as an investment. The second factor which is leading to the gender bias is from the parental point of view. That is due to the fact that the woman, the parents have the problem as far as their finance is concerned, because of the budgeting, because of the fact that they have the low budget, and whenever the choice to educate one child out of the two, that is one boy and one girl, comes, then usually parents go for educating the boy rather than going for the woman. If we talk about the gender bias, the government has even provided to the married woman property right. Why was property right provided? Property right was provided so that first dowry system will be, we will get rid of dowry system, because if the woman is having equal right in the property, so that means she doesn't need any kind of a dowry to be married off. Despite that, we see that 70% of the rural land is owned by the men, and the women are not going for their share in the land. Why? Because socially it is not being seen as something which is acceptable. The women get rejection from the community, from the society, those women who want to go for their legal rights as far as the parents' property is concerned. So, despite fact that the Hindu Succession Act of 2005 has provided equal inheritance right, this law is weakly enforced, especially in northern India. Different studies have shown that as far as the women are concerned, they are very poor as far as entrepreneur roles are concerned. Why is it so? Because of the fact, this is one of a study which was given by Tarkeshwara Rao in 2011. So, this study tells that the women are not participating as far as the entrepreneurship is concerned. Why is it so? Why only 5% of the businesses are owned by the woman, and rest are being owned by the men? And despite the fact that we have the 50% of the women as Indian population, and despite that we have women in entrepreneurship only to the 5%. The reason is that the women are not allowed to have that kind of a job. Why they are not allowed to have the entrepreneurship? Because risk-taking tendency as far as the social norm is concerned or the acceptance is concerned, as it is being taught to the girls at home, risk is something which should be taken by men only. Women should not be taking any kind of a risk. And as far as the entrepreneur is concerned, that involves risk, that involves lot of hard work, that involves lot of dedication. And as far as the Indian society is concerned, we look women particularly from the perspective that women are meant to work at home, and because women are working at home most of the time, so they that is their first role. The first role is that of a homemaker, the second role is as a mother, then the third role may be that she wants to have a profession of her own or she wants to have a business of her own. And if when this kind of a tendency is there, then the result is that the entrepreneurship, the current scenario which we saw, that the 5% women are there in the entrepreneurship, this is easily explainable. The same goes for the scientific profession. Even in the scientific profession, the women are few as far as the scientific profession is concerned, because that is also not being looked down upon as a very good option as far as the woman is concerned, because it is believed that the scientific profession, particularly the research, needs long hours, because it needs long hours. So though women who have to work at home also, and who are basically and primarily responsible for their kids, they will not be able to work in the scientific profession, and that is why we have lesser women as far as scientific profession is concerned. Same goes for the military services also, where the women are not really getting much of an acceptance as far as becoming sailors or becoming going for the combat role, that is going for the becoming soldiers and all. Similar perspective is believed in the schooling also. Because it is seen that when the schooling is concerned, as far as the woman is concerned, it is seen that woman is usually sent to the school, but then there is higher dropout rate. Why there is higher dropout rate? Because of the fact that there are more male teachers also, because there are lesser female teachers. And when we go to the secondary education or the post-secondary education, then we find lesser women. Because as far as the education is concerned, that is also foremost, it is more important to the men. This is the perspective of the society in general. In fact, if we give some kind of a statistics, then we will see that India has changed. We would say in the 2012 examination, which was conducted by Rohini Sahni and the Kalyan Shankar, and it was published in Higher Education. They have investigated the aspect of inclusiveness of the girls in the realm of higher education. They found the women are increasing, the number of women were increasing in the higher education, but still the men were more. Similarly, in the case of the in the case of the jobs, like we have few pilots, but we have more pilots. So the jobs which are looked at from the perspective that they need more sharpness, or they need more commitment, they are not taken usually by the society. They are not taken as the acceptable as far as the woman is concerned. In fact, as to improve the literacy rate, our government has launched non-formal education program, and even in the non-formal education, we find that the women are more participating in non-formal education than the male. In fact, if we have the statistics from the 2000, then we will find that out of 0.3 million NFE centers, non-formal education centers, which were catering to 7.42 million, we had 0.12 million which was exclusively for girls. So just to improve the literacy rate, non-formal education was acknowledged as one of a tool as to get the literacy reservation for the women. As to get rid of the gender differences, government has also gone for the women universities. We have the women universities. For engineering also we have few universities. There were policy framers have given even idea of even having the IITs separately for the women, so that women can be educated. Also have the medical colleges separately for the women, so that women can be improved in those education also. If we talk about the other issues which the women are dealing with, or the problems of the society, we wouldn't say that they are the problem women are dealing with, we would say they are the problem of the society. And due to those problems, one gender is not being able to perform to the best of one's ability. So we find the problems are related to the rape. Even we have the rape cases which increases, and apart from the rape, we have the sex ratio which is different. We have even the abortion which goes on, that is female infanticide, in which the child is aborted in the womb. We have even the health issues. We generally see, whenever we talk about the health issues, that the women are not very much concerned about the health issues. And with various surveys which have given the statistics, we find that 41.7 of the 2 years old of the girls and the 45.3 of the boys according to 2005. They have slightly disadvantage because malnutrition was more prevalent in the case of a woman than in comparison to the men. It was nearly equal. But still, as to improve the health of the men, we need to cater to the health of the woman, because if the mother is healthy, then naturally the child will be healthy. So, as to improve the health of the society, we require that the woman should be healthy. Apart from that, as to have the strong boys and girls, we need that the mental health concern of the woman, which is also a very severe problem, that there are more women who are suffering from depression and somatoform or dissociative orders. So, we need that we should be working upon the mental health concern also, particularly in the case of the woman, because it is generally seen if there are mental health concern, particularly in the case of a mother, that has huge impact on the kids. So, this is something which we need to attend to, as to have the society which is safe for both the genders and also progressive for both the genders. Apart from that, the gender based violence need to be decreased, and we do have the Indian Penal Code, which says that the crimes such as rape, sexual assault, insult to the modesty, kidnapping, abduction, cruelty by the intimate partners or the relatives, we do have the penal codes regarding that, but still the crime rate is increasing. Why is it increasing? Because of the social norms, because of the thinking of the people. So, the behavioral issues need to be addressed, and apart from that, the social norms need to be reformed. As the deconstructivists have stated again and again, that society needs to be deconstructed. Only then we can say that we can have the different kind of a norm. So, apart from that, the another important aspect which we need to touch upon is the power control. We need to understand that the power control, as it was seen in the case of a matrilineal society, the power control was in the case of matrilineal society was with the woman, and in the patriarchal it is, and in the patrilineal it is with the men. So, it is very important to understand the power control in the society. Only then we would be able to address the issues related to the gender and accordingly have the provisions in the education. So, power control is to be studied and understood with the same context as we have discussed in our previous lectures, when we talked about the patriarchal, matrilineal, matriarchal societies, and we understood that how power control have an influence on the education of the woman, as also have the influence on the personality of the woman as well as sexuality of the genders. So, power control also needs to be looked at. So, at this note, I, Dr. Renu Tomar, shall be taking your leave with a promise to join you back again in the next lecture. So, Namaskar, very good afternoon.